Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my Monarch Legacy of Monsters Episode 5 review. This will be some slight spoilers, I guess, here and there. I'm a few days out on it. I do apologise. Just got a bit preoccupied with other bits and pieces. Side note, as a bit of a consolation prize, Jasper's here. Decided to grace us with his presence. The aloof little chapo that used to be in videos all the time, but decided not to anymore. Anyway. You didn't come here to watch Jasper, or did you? No. This is my Monarch Episode 5 review. Like I said, some slight spoilers here. Again, apologies for being a bit late on it. But, let's get to this episode. I've got to address this. Why are our main characters incredibly unlikable? Why? Why are they awful people? So, you know, we flash forward and backwards multiple times. We've got Lee Shaw, played by Kurt Russell and Wyatt Russell. Really good character, actually. You know, he's likeable. As a character, you look at who he is, what he does, how he handles himself, how he is as a person. Nice character. Bill Rander, nice character. His wife, nice character. May. Deceptive. Bit of a bitch. Not really nice. Kentaro. Okay. And then the other girl, Bill Rander's granddaughter. Forgotten her character's name. Very unlikable, actually. Not a nice person. Not a nice person. Actually, in this episode, made out to be a cheating hoe. Huh. Okay then. Why do I care about these characters now? It seems to be a common trend with writers in the modern era, is that they write these characters almost probably as they themselves view the world and how they handle themselves in the world. Not in like an idealistic perspective, but from a very, degenerate realist perspective. Because obviously, you know, the wider world is not, well, I guess it is now full of degenerates, but generally speaking, it shouldn't be. But they're viewing it from that perspective, and they're just not nice people. I mean, the whole May and Kentaro storyline was a bit odd, and May is an insufferable woman. Kentaro's first few appearances wasn't great. He wasn't a very nice person. But he's come into his own as a pretty nice, likeable chap. Like, as a character, there's nothing bad about him. Now, anyway, as they've developed him. But he's not, there's just nothing nasty about him. Whereas May was very insufferable the last episode. And now, this girl, we learn that she just randomly shows that she's a lesbian. And a cheating hoe as well? Like, what? Why are you giving me these characters to follow that aren't actually nice people? Like, I don't give a shit about them now. Weird. When the entire episode... Well, I realise I'm awfully white up in here. The whole episode is centred around this woman flashing back to G-Day. But then they make out that she's just a bit of a cheating hoe. And I'm like, it doesn't make me want to watch her anymore. It doesn't make me care. I mean, she could get curb stomped by a Muto for all I give a shit now. But anyway, whatever, I will keep watching. But I thought that was interesting and something to highlight, because it's a common trend with writers in this day and age, is that they just don't grasp that these kind of people, they're not people that, you know, I'm going to care about. Like, I don't care about these types of individuals. And I'm sure you don't either watching this. I'm sure you're, the entire world, to look at it from that perspective as being populated with these individuals is odd. Is very, very odd. You know, it's almost like Game of Thrones, where just everyone's an arsehole. You know, and the world's just a shitty place. It's kind of like what they're portraying here. I mean, it is San Francisco. San Francisco is a shithole. Sorry if you live in San Francisco, but it's a shithole. Anyway, that was the episode, basically. It was a flashback episode. And a little bit of a set in the scene for... where Hiroshi Randa has been going on his journey. They sort of figure it out finally by the end of the episode. I mean, we've got I think we've got 3 episodes left, 6, 7, and 8. I think it's 8 episodes. So I really do hope that they go somewhere with it, because there's been now 2 filler episodes. 4 was basically a filler episode. 5 has now basically been a filler episode. And I'd like them to push it forward a little bit more and get somewhere, because we're slowing down a bit too much. I understand fillers, generally speaking. The point of a filler episode, generally speaking, is an episode by which we start to feel a little bit more for the characters. But all they did with episode 4 was make out that May was just an insufferable cow, and then this episode they've made out that this other woman, the other Randa, is a cheating hoe. Like, I'm like, that's not endearing. It doesn't endear me to these characters. And it's funny because the writers, and I'm spending a lot of time on this, but this is a review. This is important. The writers spent a significant portion of the first part of the episode trying to make us feel sympathy and pity for this girl. But then in the flashbacks, which are still supposed to make us feel pity and sympathy for this girl, again, that's part of, you know. And then they show and I'm like, I don't care now. She's an awful person. She kind of deserves these things. Anyway, bizarre. May is double crossing them. Again, of course she is. Insufferable bitch. Why wouldn't she double cross them? And I hasten to add as well, this Legendary, when they make their MonsterVerse movies, there's nothing in it where you go, that's a checkbox. That's a checkbox. You know? You don't look at it and you go, oh, they included that because they have to be in contention with this award. Because if you didn't know, ladies and gents, when it comes to award season, you have to tick a certain amount of boxes, literally a checkbox, to be in contention for awards. Legendary doesn't tend to do that. There's not a lot with Legendary that you look at with their movies and go, God, yeah, they did that because they need, you know, they had to insert a gay character for this, or they inserted this disabled character for this reason, right? You know, when there's something not part of the story, but it's sort of just thrown in because. Well, Apple did that with this one, I think. Absolutely, they did that with this one. I mean, you've got Kentaro and May, for instance. There you go, there's one. And then you've got the whole situation with this other Randa character. I mean, that's just checkboxes. And it's very apparent because it doesn't add anything to the story particularly. It's just there for awards, I guess. Bit lazy. Overall, nothing really happened. I enjoyed the flashbacks, I guess, a little bit with the Godzilla stuff. That was about it. No monsters, nothing really. And they sort of went kind of back on themselves a little bit because they were like, oh, careful. That very small newspaper outlet could just crumble away. And they hike up a massive bloody skyscraper. I'm like, what? Isn't that foundation's wrecked? Huh? What? Anyway, they go back to San Francisco and try to find their father's office. And they do. And they now find out where he's gone. And presumably they're going to go to Africa next, I guess. Maybe. Probably. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully they can finish strong. But the writing in this episode was, like, actually pretty bad. Pretty bad. And they're going to have to do a lot to redeem these characters. In my view, they're going to have to do a lot. So anyway, from me and El Jasper there, thanks for watching. What did you think? Did you notice anything that I said? Do you agree with anything I said? Take care. Bye-bye now.